think we should be back. Let's see if this works. That's pretty annoying. It like drops altogether. Is it not streaming on YouTube now? What happened? Oh, this is really annoying that it does this. It puts the link in there every time. We're good. We're back. Yeah, completely dropped. It didn't do that last time, which I'm surprised. Let me just go ahead and do something real quick. Hold on. Yeah, it looks like it. Oh, I gotta... Hold on, give me a sec. I'm logging into Restream just to check a setting on that. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. So, what I wanted to check is that it fucking... Probably something I'm gonna have to, like, pay to change, but it's like putting a link to Restream every time, and I do not want to get in trouble with YouTube for that, so I gotta make sure. And it doesn't show you it's doing that. Sneaky little buggers. Alright. Should be alright. I'm gonna have this pulled up and we'll see if that helps with it. Okay. That sucks that it drops altogether though. Wasn't doing that the other day. Alright. Here's what it is. It's probably something to do with just my connection. Could be Restream, but another channel after I dropped. Damn you, YouTube. So cold-blooded. Yeah, last time we did have some connection issues last time, but it didn't drop on YouTube altogether, so I'm surprised, but... Classic Optimum. Am I right? I want to double check that my server is the right server. Should be a New York one. Yeah, it's a New York server. I think it might just been my service. It is quite annoying though that it's changing my description. I don't like that. So I gotta figure out how I like got rid of all my all my tags and everything. It's annoying. Alright. We're good. Should be alright. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. Alright, so we got our banners tied. Now I do have a head here. Essentially the heads come together like this. You just cut them in half with a razor. And then what we're going to do is I have these strips. These are banner strips I got from saltwaterflies.com. You can get them in foil, but it's a little bit more efficient when you get them like this, because you don't have to cut them. They're kind of ready to go. And if I'm not wrong, this size head, we should be able to cut this strip in half. Oh yeah, that's a nice size strip too. So we just cut this in half like that. Take our tape. Oh, you know what? First, before we do that, we're going to ream the hole on this. And I essentially always try to get it somewhere around here. I don't try and put it in the middle. I put it more closer to the bottom. I like the popper head riding higher up, is how I generally tie my banners. So there we go. That's pretty even. I like that. And we essentially want it to be straight as well. Now what we do is we should be able to put that on there quite easy, like so, as you see. But we take some tape, and again, you can get these from saltwaterflies.com. The permastic tape or the foil tape. It's not foil tape, but I guess it technically is. But the banner strips are called. And I'm going to use the nice clean side from where I cut it as the reference. And I'm just going to go right along, trying to make sure. Now see, we're having a little issue here where this is sticking, so we're actually going to use a little super glue to really reinforce this. Just a very small amount is all you need, really. So that way it doesn't get all over your hands. What we'll do is actually a little bit more over here. Very light amount. Generally just put it where the tape goes on, but and then you could seal that tape on itself. JJAM, how you doing? Good fly there. That's right, Bob's Banner. We're tying some for some local fly shops. And that tape really sticks to itself, but that little bit of super glue where the body connection meets, or where the foam meets the foil. And now I'm just going to trim this excess off the back, but I'd like to leave just a little bit so you don't see the foam. And now what we do is we have our beautiful looking foam popper head. Coat that in super glue really well. And then what I like to do is, I got the bottom tape. I want that to end up in the bottom, but I spin this on there and it really just soaks the whole thing. And I have the bottom of that tape line up right here. You can't really see it. Let's see if I can zoom in. Right there. You can just make it out. The bottom of the tape lines up with the hook so you don't see that, where the tape connects, essentially, is how I do it. And last but not least, you just slap some eyes on there. Like so. Now I still need to get another pack of hooks because I'm 6 flies short of 2 dozen, and I still need to tie a bunch more of these anyway, but I'm tying 2 dozen for a fly shop in Montauk, and I'm tying probably 4 dozen for whitewater outfitters here and around here, so. But there we go, that's the Bob's Banner right there. It's a 5/8 foam head. We got the fly foil, the eyes, and this thing's ready to rock. So now I need to tie another 2 dozen. But you'll see here, just to show you the tails that we have. That's a lot of tails in white and chartreuse ready to go. So I'm going to need to cut the heads. I'll do all that off stream, put the foil on. It's pretty tedious. So what we can do instead is we'll switch over to some Clousers, which you can see here. I have a bunch of hooks tied to the eyes, but we need to tie the rest of the eyes on here. So this doesn't take long at all, doing the figure eights with the eyes, and then we'll actually start tying the Clousers. I'm going to take this off though, save the chartreuse thread for the other 6 ones I gotta tie. Yeah, it kind of sucks that it ended the stream when we dropped connection earlier on YouTube, but hopefully we'll be fine now. Every once in a while I have some internet issues, but it's generally not too terrible. All right, I think I might make another cup of coffee real quick. I actually found one of our other videos that we use for our break, the older away video, but with the fly tying slow-mo and stuff. So I'm gonna stretch my legs real quick, brush all this chartreuse bucktail that is covering my pants right now, and use the restroom real quick, and then we'll start tying these Clousers. That's what we're gonna do. We have a bunch of eyes there. We have some hooks. Very good. We're going to, for now, move this, what do you call this? Bob's Banner stuff. You can see I have, by the way, it's pretty nice. I have all sorts of different colors and tapes and stuff for the banners. Got some more staz and all that. By the way, for an upcoming fly tying video, which I probably am going to record at some point coming up here soon. I forgot to mention, I got my classic, my favorite Zap Gap. I will say, this Gorilla Glue has been working great though. I almost kind of like it better. Check what we got. We got some Flex resin. So we're going to be doing a Flex candy as I think one of the newer one of the next videos for YouTube, but we'll see. I also may I have a long list of stuff, so which I gotta start putting something in the videos where asking people to recommend if they want me to make a video on a fly. Bucktail hollow flies, Squimpish bass fly, I have Flex candies, sand flea fly, we got to do a pop lip video at some point. The bucktail deceiver. There's the extended bucktail deceiver with a monotail. We got the beast fly we got to do a video on. Some of these are heavy duty flies. And the rear floating squid. I was just pretty much looking through the Popovic's books like, man, what should we make some videos on? But I also need to do some more Squimpish stuff. So if anyone has any ideas on a pattern you'd like to see specifically, let me know. All right, we're going to take a quick little break. Let's play our one of our away videos here, which I'm going to have to make another one of those soon, so we can have some variety. But at least we don't have to watch the Albie video over and over again. Don't worry, we will be doing that, though, because it's so good. But I'll be back in a moment, all right? So don't go nowhere. All right, we're back. Nice little away video. Something different. Some nice 4K footage. All right. Get back to fly tying, shall we? Let's change songs. Bumps. Why is it? All right. My bad. I was just checking something with Restream. Let's get some fresh air. All right. Excuse me. Let's get back to fly tying. Enough dilly-dallying. We gotta get some work done. So we're tying some Clousers. These are size 1 hooks. Some dumbbell eyes. Putting these eyes pretty far back, by the way, almost sand eel style. But it leaves me enough room in the front to work with the bucktail. That's how I like my Clousers. Traditionally, I was putting the eyes much more forward, but over time I've started putting them further back. I'm doing some figure 8s as well as what I call the helicopter around it, where I go underneath the eye as well. And we're essentially just putting the eyes on there, because tying flies in stages is much more efficient when you're tying commercially. It's one thing I found over the years. These are the, that hook, I have found quite a lot of quality control issues with these hooks. And this one right here is one of them. Now you can see, it's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to look like this. So that one's going in the defective pile. Unfortunately, I've had a lot where there was some severe damage by the bend of the hook. So that's one thing with these new mustads. Keep an eye out, because they're apparently still working on their quality control with these new models. Is one thing I've found, at least. Oh, it seems like almost every box. Maybe not every box, probably every other box, but in one box, you know, I had multiple hooks that were bad, so. Mustads got to get their stuff together. Normally they're pretty good, but it's a newer hook, so it's probably some manufacturing stuff they got to figure out. You didn't know I use Mustad for most of my fly tying. Their fly series, saltwater fly series, are great hooks, especially the big game hooks. But I also use a lot of Gamakatsus as well. So, it's one thing to keep an eye out, is with these hooks. Curious if I'm going to have anyone come back and say they've had issues with them. There's one more thing you got to do while working there, right? Commercial fly tying, you got to sit there and it's very easy to miss the one of these hooks being damaged when you're just cranking them out. So I have to keep my eye out. I find doing those little loop-de-loops, the helicopters on top, really helps secure the eyes. You can see why I use my fingers to whip finish as well. It's just so much faster for me. It's one less thing I gotta pick up. I hate dealing with whip finishers. I used to love whip finishers back in the day. I'd sit there and whip finish 30 times. using the little tool. Not no more. Use my fingers. It's looking good. Yeah, I wonder if I need to like set up a stream key every time or something to the specific stream so it doesn't go and start a new one on YouTube or something. I don't know. YouTube's different than the way Twitch works when it comes to live streaming. So I was hesitant to put it to 1080. I think 720 might be what we're... Oh, no, I can't put it to 1080 anyway, because I forgot, because I'm using the free version. Duh. Trying to get me to, like, pay 20 bucks a month for this restream. No, sir. I am half tempted to go do some fishing before I have to go to D&D. We very well could. Let's see, we got the banners. What else do I need to do that I have the material for? Flatwing sand eels, I have those pretty much good to go. Flatwing candies, I have those pretty much good to go, sand eel versions. So that, surf candies, we start working on. Those I can do. It's the deceivers, the half and halves, and the albihos that I don't have the feathers for at the moment, so I ordered some suitable, hopefully suitable replacement to the whiting American rooster hackle I always use. Could go give the pop lip a whirl again. Actually, let me check what the tide is like. We have to bane out a good part of these Clousers no matter what, but... let's see, tide chart. What do we got? It's probably going to be incoming, I'm guessing. Next time... Oh, it's low tide at 11:20. Okay. Probably not ideal. We'd probably have to go later. But we could fish incoming. Possibly. What's the wind looking like? We have another northwest. Ugh, 13. I hate the northwest for this spot. West, northwest, west, northwest. So we have the same west, northwest BS. I might be able to go do a little fishing for a couple hours before I have to go, but we'll see. So high tide is at 4:30. So I guess theoretically I could go fish the incoming tide. Actually. It's probably going to be more like 5, but with the wind, the current's not going to be as strong with the west wind. Yeah, we could go fishing, actually. Probably just bring the intermediate line so I don't get tempted with poppers again. Let's see, so when would we want to go? Let me charge my phone. Well, I think we'll actually probably be alright, because I have my charger and everything. When do I want to go fishing, I'm thinking. If it's 11:20 is low tide. Back there it's probably going to be like 11:40, 12 is low tide. Unless the tide actually went out quicker because of the west wind. Because believe it or not, the wind has a big impact on how fast the tide falls in my area. Incoming, it says 4:30 is high tide, so it's more probably like 5 o'clock back where I am, because the tide station is different to where I am. And I really probably gotta get to my buddy's place at like, well, probably 4:30. So I'd want to leave fishing at 4-ish. We'll see. Maybe I'll go down in a couple hours. Maybe at like 1:30 I'll go do some fishing. And we'll just, excuse me, what do you call it? Keep fly tying until then. Is there a fly I should tie to bring down there? Is the question. Can't do a pop lip, but we can, what do you call it? Bucktail deceiver. Half and half. Is there anything you think I should throw? Because we've been struggling at the moment, I'll tell you that much. Hey, Chef, what's going on? How big are the tides? I don't know. I think they're like 3 foot, something like that. I can actually check. If I'm not wrong. Where's the normal chart that you see? I'm pretty sure they're like probably 3 to 4, maybe 5 feet, depending. The actual how much the tides move. It's probably like 3 or 4 feet. It's not as severe as it is. Oops, sorry, up in like, you know, Newfoundland or somewhere in Massachusetts. The higher north or south you go in relation to the poles, the more extreme the tides are. But we still have a pretty, you know, pretty extreme tide here. But you're more than likely not going to drown or something. Like, we don't have 10-foot tides. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'll have to ask my boss how. I'm just basing off of looking at from high tide to low tide, you know. On the bulkhead, it's probably like 4 or 5 feet, maybe 4.5 feet. In terms of how much they actually rise and fall. So I'm thinking, you know, I do have a couple nice bucktail deceivers. That's usually my go-to. The one fly we actually got hit on was like a pretty large bunker Sadati slammer. Oh, okay, nice. Georgia coast. Yep. Yeah, the tides are pretty extreme. They're not as extreme as they are. I mean, during the winter, they're even more so. I think its peak in the winter is when our tides are the most, they drop and fall the largest amounts, but very cool. What do you do on the Georgia coast? We talking some redfish, speckled trout, all the good stuff? I know there's some amazing red fishing. Spartina grass, springtime tides. Mm-hmm. I know all about it. I would love to go do some fly fishing in Georgia or like South Carolina. I've caught some redfish in speckled trout on the fly in North Carolina by Wilmington. I've caught some redfish down in Florida. But I want to do some proper flats fishing in like South Carolina, Georgia one day. Some awesome fishing down there. On the old skiff. Trout, red, sheephead, flounder, nice. Yeah, I love the fishing down there. It's a very unique fishery. As much, I still love my stripe and my northeast fishery better, but there was a time where I was going to move down to North Carolina and I was going to live the trout and redfish life with a fly rod, but I would have done that for a girl, so I'm happy I didn't. If I was doing it for the fish, that'd be different. You don't fly fish yet, but you love the fishing? Nice, yeah. You should try fly fishing, man. I mean, redfish are built for the fly rod. I'd say speckled trout, you probably are, you know, you could definitely crush them on the spinning, probably more ideally, but you can still catch big gator trout on a fly rod. But the redfish, they're made for fly fishing. In my opinion, they're one of the most, one of the best fish to target with the fly rod on the East Coast, next to striped bass, and, you know, of course, your classics like tarpon and all that, snook and whatnot, but I think redfish are up there when it comes to striped bass with the fishery. It's one of my favorite fisheries. Throwing crab flies, watching those tails sticking out of the water. Man, it's so much fun. Fishing around oyster creeks and stuff. Alright. Got a little ways to go, but we're making progress on these Clousers. Clouser heads. But yeah, what should I think I should probably tie something before we go, right? So what should I tie? Is the question. I'm trying to get out and do as much fishing as I can. I have so much work to do fly tying wise. And I'm sure clamming or fishing wise, but commercial fishing. So I'm trying to get as much work done as I can, but I'm trying to slip out and do a couple hours of fishing every day because I really want to catch a striped bass. Really bad. And I want to catch a lot of them. I want to catch hundreds and hundreds of fish this year. I didn't do any fishing last year, so I got to make up for it. Alright. Where are you going, Ami? Don't go anywhere. There we go. You can see I'm doing this little dance with my fingers where I let go every time, do the figure eight. It's like a little... It's a little fly tying dance. Doesn't beat the Albie dance, though. Oh, man. I gotta make another Albie parody video this year on YouTube. It's gonna be all about fly fishing. It's gonna be great. People are either gonna love it or they're gonna hate it. That's for sure. Oh god. The second one was a fail. I wasn't happy with it. The first one was, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever replicate it, but I'm gonna have to try. It's one of those videos you gotta film on the right day when you have that juju going on. Oh god. It's so funny. I'll be out fishing somewhere on the North Shore and there'll be some middle-aged dude goes by and he goes, slamming cores. Cracks me up every time. Oh man, good times. So for anyone just tuning in, we're doing some commercial fly tying. We tied a bunch of Bob's Banner tails earlier. Now and I do all my commercial fly tying in stages. It's the most efficient way, but now we're tying some eyes on for the Clousers that I'm whipping up. And these are for the local fly shops. One here, Whitewater Outfitters, and one in Montauk. It's a new up-and-coming fly shop at a marina. Nice to have a fly shop out there for if you're stuck out in Montauk. So I'm gonna need to figure out the name of that place so I can tell everyone. I like getting a base of thread on there before I do anything. That way material doesn't slip, including these lead eyes, or these, I think they're made of nickel. they're plated or something. I don't think they're lead. I forgot the name. I think they use the hairline dubbing eyes. They're not the Real Eyes Plus. That's a different brand. That's what I always used to think they were. Yeah, luckily all my stuff's pretty much charged. I shouldn't really have to charge anything. I'm still trying to think what's the fly I should... Because that's kind of how I operate when it comes to fly fishing. I generally like tying a fly and fishing it, you know? And if it's good, I won't even take it off for a while. I mean, we have that pop lip on there. That pop lip's beautiful. I should probably just fish that, but half tempted to try something else. Kind of like tying one fly almost every time before I go out. Either the night before or before I head out that day. It's kind of my little ritual when I'm in the fishing groove, but... So if anyone has any recommendations, I'm thinking... I mean, I have a beautiful bucktail deceiver we tied on the last fly tying stream, so... Perhaps just use that. I could tie something a little smaller, I suppose. I have some beautiful flat wings as well. Oh, we dropping a little frames. Oh, we're good. We good. This is one of the reasons why I'm trying to do some fly tying streams earlier in the day, because everyone's at school or work, so they're not sucking up all the bandwidth for my block. Hopefully one day we can get some damn fiber internet out here. At least in my area. Long Island's infrastructure is in dire need of overhauling, that's for sure, I'll tell you that much. Alright, only a couple more hooks to go. We got the eyes whipped up here. I like those eyes a little bit further back now. Cranking them out, baby. We are cranking them out. So has anyone successfully started going out and catching some fish? That's what I want to know. Jin, when are you going to start hitting up the saltwater? When do you usually start going? If you're still here. I'm truly surprised we haven't caught something yet. It's April 16th. Usually it's like the 8th or the 9th. It's crazy. I am being kind of lazy. I should probably drive somewhere and go fish somewhere else, but I do love my little spot. It's kind of like my little warm-up spot every year. I start fly fishing down here and then I start branching out. If I had my boat now, we wouldn't be fishing down there, I'll tell you that much. We'd be going all over, but unfortunately, I need to get my truck back on the road, and I gotta fix my trim and my trailer. My trailer's falling apart, and that damn trim unit, man. Probably just gonna have to go with the used one. The brand new one is almost $2K, which is... If I'd been making a little bit more money this year, it'd be different, but... Slow start in the commercial world. Happy though, I'm getting a bunch of fly tying done. I'm gonna have to stay on it. Oh. I only really need 2 loops. All this is going to get tied over again, so it doesn't really matter, but all the while I'm keeping my eye out for any damaged hooks, any hooks that are bent, or any hooks that look like when they were made in the mold they got crushed or something. I've seen a couple of them. We found one earlier. Keep my eye out for them. Alright. Yeah, intermediate line, pop lip. We'll go out there, try and catch some fish for a couple hours with the incoming tide, see how we do. I'm almost kind of wishing we had some overcast, little nasty days. It's actually been really nice. I think a overcast, slightly rainy day might be good for fishing. Hey Marcus, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Do you have Squimpish Hollow Fly on your on the YouTube? Yeah, of course, Jen. It's one of my more popular videos. I think it's got like 10K views, but the Squimpish Hollow, I think we did like almost like 3-5 years ago or something. It's funny looking at my analytics with hours watched. That's one of the higher watched videos. But we might need to update it. I want to tie some more Squimpish Fly videos, or make some more Squimpish Fly videos. So we might do some stuff other than hollow ties, but we could always do some different hollow ties, smaller ones or specialized ones like squid or something. You're fine? Oh, that's good to hear. Everything's going good. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you for asking. Everything's going good. We went fishing for like 3 hours yesterday. We still haven't caught anything, so I got fishing on my mind. We're working on some orders of Clousers for some local fly shops. We were doing Bob's Banners earlier. And we're probably going to go down and do a little fishing on Twitch here in a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't think I can multi-stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time IRL. I don't know what sort of technology I need to use for that, but I was half tempted to every other fishing stream. I'll stream one on YouTube, one on Twitch, but we'll just leave it on Twitch for now because a lot of you folks on Twitch have been watching for so long and supporting the channel, so eventually if we could figure that out, that'd be great. But at least we can stream fly tying to YouTube, which is pretty big. I'm super excited about that. But if you're going to want to catch the live streaming of fishing, you're going to have to go to Twitch, unfortunately. Because until I figure that out, I'll probably need to get some serious equipment. RTMP server, little, what do you call it? The Pi, those little computers. And set up like a thing to where I stream and it sends a signal back to my house, and then I send that to my computer, and that streams through restream. I think that's how you can do it, but then essentially you need like wireless Wi-Fi routers. You're essentially almost then at that point getting like a like an IRL backpack. It's cheaper, but it's still like you need multiple SIM cards, and you need to like program all of this stuff. So I don't know how to do any of this stuff. It's generally people pay stuff to do this for IRL streaming, but so if we could figure that out one day, I would love to be able to stream fishing to YouTube as well. For the moment, I'm all out of ideas of that one. So we'll probably go just do some fishing for a couple hours a little later. Alright, we're tying some Clousers. Now I'm trying to find the right size hair. I have a bunch of these white bucktails. This is actually a very nice tail for that. Perfect. I don't want to use any of my good tails that have really long hair, you know. I will say some of the tails Chris sent me are beautiful. This is a hollow fly tail, I think. Nice long hair. Nice and soft hair as well for hollow ties. Alright, so what we're doing here, which I believe I need to get a new thing of body braid, which I have. Oh, up on my table. Let me grab that. We're going to be tying the bucktail and the body braid on these, and banding all those out, and then I'll tie the colors on top. It's easier to do it like that. Got some Bill's body braid to use. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, this is how I commercial fly tie. I've been doing this for quite a long time now. 10 years plus I've been tying commercially, so it's not until the past 6-7 years that it was really serious, but all right. I'm probably gonna put these hooks back. This one's junk, so this one's going off to the side because it's bent. These three can come in here. All right, Bill's body braid, check. This is how I tie my Clousers, with body braid and whatnot. You can tie them however you like, but this is just how I do it. The hell sort of animal I hearing out there? Is that a bird? Almost sounded like a raccoon or something. I think it was a bird. It might be the blue jays. These blue jays show up looking for bird seed all the time. Wrap that pretty much right to the hook point, essentially. And I do like to keep my Clousers fairly sparse. I don't like them being too bulky, but I'll just add a little bit more white. You can see why I left myself room up by the hook eye, right? Just like that, and then we go ahead and wrap our body braid on there with a little super glue up to the eye. And just add a little bit of color to it, little something. What I do is I take this and I run it along the top here, because I will tie it past that hook eye, or past the dumbbell eyes, and that'll just ensure that this fly is a little bit more durable. Like that. I actually wrap this back a little bit because this bobbin's all worn out, this right bobbin. It actually spins, but I kind of like it. And you can figure eight, but you don't want to tie on top. So if you just figure eight from the bottom like that, boom. There's our Clouser tail. And then what we would do is on top, we tie our flash, we tie our color, chartreuse, or whatever tan colors you want, pink, olive. Now I gotta do 48 of these. But it's easier to do them in steps, as you see, instead of trying to do it all at once. You'll spend a lot more time tying a Clouser from start to finish then, because you have to pick up more materials, do this and that. This is part of how you do commercial fly tying. Being efficient. I will say, streaming is not extremely efficient, but because I get distracted all the time with talking. But it is fun. You can hang out and do some fly tying or just listen to, so. Or you could tie along, tie a bunch of Clousers as well. Add a little bit more there. Wrap that down pretty good. I like putting in a lot of thread pressure when I fly tie. It's actually a little bit of a workout on my arms. That's why a lot of times you'll actually see me break the thread, because I'm putting a fair amount of pressure in there. This flat wax nylon thread in its own, when you apply pressure like that, it cinches down really good. That with super glue though, and it's pretty durable fly. But I really like to put a lot of pressure on my fly tying thread. It's just part of how I tie. It's how I've tied forever. I like to live my life on the edge when it comes to fly tying in my thread. Not gonna sing that song though, so I don't get copy striked on YouTube. Maybe this Sunday? Oh, you might go fishing Sunday, gotcha. You might need to refresh the stream or fast forward it on YouTube, Jen, because I think you're pretty far behind. It happens on YouTube. Twitch will like auto update it a lot of times. YouTube won't, because you can actually stop the stream midstream and pause it and go back. So a lot of times you actually have to either refresh it or just scroll it all the way to the right, tap it a couple times, make sure it's fully caught up to date. It's one thing I've learned watching streams on YouTube. Watching Dr. D. Because I think you're a little behind at the moment. Now, he might not hear this for a while. Okay. How's that? Because there's like, it happens with the broadcasting. I don't know why. Are you asking me how to do it? Okay, just refresh. There you go. Yeah, it's one thing I've noticed with YouTube, watching live streams on YouTube. Sometimes I'll be like really far behind and not even realize. And a lot of times I'll notice because of chat. I'm like, what? But the nice thing about YouTube is that you can, like, you know, it's much easier to pause it, fast forward it and whatnot, instead of having to go back to a VOD like Twitch, but they all have their benefits. Alright, add a little bit more white here. Yeah, I'm kind of excited. I want to go do some fishing now. I shouldn't have brought it up. So it's pretty much low tide right now. So it's going to start coming in here soon. Ideally, I'd kind of wait till it gets a little bit, it gets moving for a little bit before I go down there. So we'll keep tying. Yes. Yeah, Jen, I do have a Squimpish hollow fly video. It's one of my more popular ones. It's on there if you see it. Maybe if you look. It'll be in popular videos, which when you go to my homepage, it's right there. Yep, the Squimpish hollow. Check it out. I was looking at the analytics on that one. I think there's like websites promoting that video or something, because there's like websites in Europe for fly fishing companies that people were watching the video from or something. I have no idea. I think from Squimpish Flies they have the video on there because it seems like people are going there. Okay, gotcha. Yep, no problem. Thank you. Let them know. Check it out. We'll probably do a newer one of those at some point, because I've gotten much better with filming, audio, and editing over the years. So if you go back, a lot of my older fly tying videos are a little janky. Some of them are captured from streams as well, so the quality is nowhere near, let alone recorded in 4K like I do it now. So you get some nice, crisp, clean fly tying videos. And I can only improve. There's still so much room for improvement when it comes to editing and filming and all that. Lighting, audio. It's a never-ending process. Now, nobody's answered, what should I tie if we're going fishing? Or should I just fish the pop lip, is the question. Because I'm half tempted to tie something, but also that pop lip is probably going to slam. If there's any fish down there, that is, at this time of day during this tide. probably going to tie a pop lip live at some point. We need a little bit more time for that. I mean, theoretically, we could tie one today, but I'm trying to get some work done before we go fishing. Then I got to go to D&D. Yeah, we just finished my buddy's campaign. He's starting another one, so I'm pretty interested in seeing where he's going with this. I still haven't figured out my character. I always figure it, like, pick a class and my character, like, as we're doing it. I never think about it too much. I think I'm just going to be an old wizard. A crazy old man. I just want to be a crazy old wizard man. It's constantly making jokes. Fireball. I think we stick with the pop lip. I'll bring a bucktail deceiver just in case. And I have some smaller flies as well, like Clousers and your basic little deceivers. I am a big firm believer in fishing something a little larger though. So, I mean, the pop lip is not even that big. Oh, you know it'd be a really fun pop lip to tie? A giant eel one. I think we've done it, right? Or no, we've done the Silicones. So that'd be a great video. An American eel pop lip. Giant one. Go out at night. I mean, there's tons of eels where I fish over here. Especially during the summertime at night. I mean, I've seen ones that were like 1.5 feet. We catch them in pots. Crab pots for the green crabs. Like AC fishing, and we also catch them while we're bunker fishing, so, or silverside fishing. And I'm talking about giant eels. They're like 2-3 foot long, massive bodies, like super thick. So we could totally tie a foot, you know, a 1.5 foot long squimpish pop lip fly. That would actually be really sick. Now I want to tie it. That sounds so cool. I want to tie it now. I think maybe we will once we get done with some Clousers. We've tied all sorts of flies like that in the past for big eels. The problem is I really don't do a lot of nighttime fishing. This year I plan on doing a lot more. But I mean, eels, big eels at night, it's classic big striper recipe, so. And I think the pop lip is the fly because the way those eels swim. It just perfectly mimics their movement. I was watching Gunnar Brammer's video, who's a fantastic fly tyer if you don't know him, on pop lips to refresh myself a little bit and just to see how he does them. And he was using a lot of synthetic material, and I mostly use ram's wool, so I might need to experiment with more synthetic material. Like, I don't see why you couldn't use slinky fiber. You know what I mean? He was using something, some sort of big fly, fuzzy fiber or something. I forgot what it's called. It's probably some sort of musky material or something. But there's no reason why we can't use slinky fiber to make the head. You know what I mean? So, maybe we try that. The problem with the ram's wool is you really got to use a lot. You have to pack it in there. It's like spinning a deer head. It's tough to get that body perfect afterwards, but it's the traditional way to tie is how Bob Popovich does it. So that's how I've always done it. But I suppose we should try some sort of synthetic head with the natural body. And just do the head and the lip synthetic. That's how I'm going to do it, I suppose. Okay, now I really want to tie that, to be honest with you. I'm going to tie a couple more Clousers first. In fact, maybe we do that after this. It's kind of like a summertime fly for sure, but do I want to make it 12 inches long? It's already gonna be pretty big. I mean, we kind of have to if we're making a eel, but maybe we make it more like 8 or 9 inches, like a smaller eel. Because realistically, there's a ton of, that's what they go for, like the eels like this size. Well, you can't really see, but like that size for fishing for bait. There's a lot of people that pot for eels, you know, with eel pots out here. I see tons of eel pots all over the place around here. There's a lot of eels in these estuaries. Which, by the way, it's crazy to think all of those eels come from the Sargasso Sea. They all go out to the Sargasso Sea, which is essentially like its own sea out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And they go and they spawn. And then they make their way as glass eels. It's pretty nuts to think about that. It's like its own ecosystem out there, that sea. It's really interesting. I didn't know about it for years. It was only because of eels I found out about that. I always thought it was like out in the Mediterranean. I had no idea where it was. It's very cool though. Alright, let's tie a giant eel fly, I guess. God damn it. Let's tie a poplip. A bigger one. I kind of really want to now. I got myself hyped up talking about these big stripers. Alright, I'm going to move these over here. All the Bob's banners are over there. Make sure they don't get covered in whatever sort of material we're going to be using right now. I can't help it, Doc. It's too cool to not tie a giant eel poplip fly or something, you know what I mean? Everybody knows you ain't cool unless you pee your pants. If peeing your pants is cool, then you can call me Miles Davis. Oh, God. Good times. What is this? Is that thread? Jeez. Alright, I'm looking for big hooks. I think I have some big Arexes we might use. Or the partridge predators. I think I still have some partridge predators. Probably the hook we want to use. Hold on, I'm gonna find these hooks. Give me a sec. You ain't cool unless you pee your pants. Hell yeah, baby, I do have some partridge predators. Except these are a little small. I forgot, these are the smaller ones. These aren't the long shanks, are they? These are like the offshore hooks. Which, by the way, these hooks are pretty damn serious, so we're going to need to probably use that for something else. This box is like destroyed, though. I'm looking for, they had the larger predator hooks. I think I still have some. Maybe I do. I do. Hell yeah. Let's go. Giant predator. I'm gonna have to order more of these partridge. These are one of my favorite hooks. Partridge Predator X hooks, they're called. Alright, now do we make this, I guess we go eel style? I don't know if I want to make it black though. I think I almost want to make it a normal color. We can always tie an eel one, but I kind of just want to tie a big, what do you call it, poplet. Full dress poplet, by the way, is what we're going to tie, I suppose. Which you could see right there. Comparing it to a bomber, that's kind of what we're tying. That's a classic school bus bomber, which if you have ever thrown bombers in the 90s for striped bass, that right there. And that's the old school ones too, by the way, which I have an old school one here. I'll show you guys, but that's what we're going for right there is the idea. I think I put too much silicone on the lip on the last one. We're going lighter on silicone via Gunner's words. Where is, haha, yes. Look at this. This is an old bomber, by the way. They don't make them like this anymore. But this is that exact bomber, except this is a double hook instead of a triple. But you don't find them like this. They stopped making them like this a while back, and I bought this at a what do you call it? At a different place. But this right here, I mean, in the surf it's really hard to beat. So we're trying to replicate this is what we're doing. Essentially. I guess let's use this as a little reference right here. So size-wise, we're going to the back there. All right. We're going to be using a lot of natural material for this, but I still want to. Now we could use ram's wool. We could. I have it right here. I have white and I have yellow ram's wool. That's how you traditionally make this fly. But I was considering us using synthetic material. I don't know what we would use. And it doesn't have to be yellow. It's just that yellow and white is a classic surf color. It's like one of the best in my opinion. Let me see what other. I'm thinking we do something other than ram's wool. That's kind of the whole point. Now we could use EP fiber. I feel like could be a very viable choice when it comes to doing this. But I think we want something that is more, what's the right word? It's a kinkier fiber. It's got more of a kink in it and not as smooth. So let's see what we got in the synthetics box. We got a bunch of squimps. EP fiber. Oh, I do have chartreuse EP fiber. Okay, yeah, it was orange I was looking for the other day. I couldn't find. I know I have. Yeah, I got Steve Farrar fiber. That potentially might be the ticket. Is what I'm thinking. Yeah, Steve Farrar fiber. Actually, I have a fair amount of EP fiber and chartreuse. I guess I kind of am tempted to tie one in EP as well to see how it works. It's kind of an experimental thing, I guess. At the same time, I don't want to waste this really good hook and not know if it's going to work. I think the kinky fiber is our best bet, if you ask me. I'm just trying to see if I have any white. I don't know. So we got chartreuse for the kinky fiber. I do have blue as well, but that's fine. I don't have any white, huh? I thought I did. I'm just looking real quick. There's so much material in here. It's crazy. Okay, I think I do have some white. It's like loose. We're just gonna end up using chartreuse to make it easy. I mean, if it ain't chartreuse, it ain't no use. I would like some white for the belly, but turns out I don't have that much. It looks like just a little bit. I apologize. This is quite a mess in here, but this is my random synthetics I've accrued. A lot of squimpish hair in here. Yeah, there was just that little bit of white that must have been left over after a while ago. It's difficult to choose the right stuff. Will it hold the silicone, though, is what I'm thinking now, as the wool has an absorption factor, and will the silicone hold it? Yeah, that's a good question. I guess that's what we're going to find out. I don't know. Wool is ideally what you use. The problem that I've found with wool is that it squashes quite a lot. So this might give you a better head. I have no idea. I guess we'll find out. I mean, this has flash mixed into it. It's not, you know, the kinkiest of fibers, but it should work. I'm just going to right off the bat cut this stuff down because we don't need it to be that long. I mean, if you think about the proportion, though, we want this to be pretty decent. So I don't want to cut it too short, but I think I cut it twice. Get away with it. And we're essentially going to be either V-tying it. I think we V-tie it, if I'm not wrong. I don't think we spin it, but I guess we can attempt it and see what it's like. When it comes to spinning it, you know, that's the other thing. How are we going to apply this material to the hook in the way? Now, I know Gunnar Brammer uses it like this, so we could probably check that out. But I'm assuming, I don't know, does he V-tie it or does he? I guess we're just going to have to try it out ourselves. It's kind of fun figuring it out ourselves. I guess we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a good substitute to wool. If anything, wool is softer than this, you know? I think this, I know an evolution of the simple cone or the silicone, I'm sorry. God, there's so many. The silicone is the fly we're tying now without the lip, right? I know Steve Farrar did an evolution of that where you literally just do a hollow tie over ram's wool. You tie a big bunch of ram's wool. You hollow tie the Steve Farrar fiber over it, and then you cover it in silicone, and you have like a two-step silicone, simple cone. It's the evolution of it, and it's got a nice profile. So I'm 100% certain that but there is ram's wool in the middle, right? So, to keep the buoyancy, I don't know. The other thing is, I feel like we should put some sort of a... I really feel like we should put some sort of a lead keel on this. Gunnar was talking about that. I've never done a lead keel on a pop lip, and I kind of want to try it. So I think we're just going to do a slight lead keel in the back, and almost pole dancer style. We'll see if this affects the movement of the fly, essentially. You know what I mean? I'm going to do this way in the back. I'm not tying the material this far back, so this will just be like a right in the back. So let's try this out. I wonder if a lead keel in the back will affect how the fly swims. Let's try that. See how that works. This will also kind of help bump our material so it kind of spreads out a little bit. Now, you know, here's a really crazy idea. What if you do the tube technique? Now we're really getting crazy. Hold on. Where is that? What if we do something wild here? Where, oh where did that tube stuff go? I have some shark version, which is, I mean, this is the extreme version. Mind you, I bought a gigantic spool of this. Why I bought this much of it? We can do something where it's... No, this is too much. This is literally for shark flies. I had a smaller piece. I don't know where it is. That's too much. I had a more reasonable sized piece, but it's gone. I don't know. Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. It's not as good, but we can do it. I think the way we tie it, like, how does this work again? I'm trying to remember how we do this. It's been so long since I've done this. Do you tie it like this and then you fold it back? Yeah, like that. Okay. That's how you do it. This might absolutely ruin the pop lip. I have no idea. This might be a terrible idea. Or it might be brilliant. Because I'm thinking we do something like this. I guess maybe we do it further. And then the hackle will be like, boom, opened up. And then we tie it or something like that. I'd have to move this forward. I don't know. I don't know if I do that. Sell it by the meter. There you go. I'm getting a little too creative at the moment, but I mean, that is something we can do. Nah, we're getting too wild. We just got to tie a normal fly. And I feel like if I get too nuts with that, it might, it really seriously might affect how the fly swims. But that could be something we could try. Put in that cone like that on a pop lip. I think that's pretty interesting. All right. So let's see. We got bucktails. Yes. We're not using ram's wool. We're gonna experiment with Steve Farrar fiber for this one. Again, I don't even know how this will work for the lip, but I guess we'll find out. This could be interesting. Might be a waste, but there's only one way to find out if it'll actually work, right? We got that. We're going to be using all natural material except for the heads and everything, so. I'm trying to see what sort of feathers I want to use here. Probably just some regular saddle hackle. But I'm trying to see, for instance, aha, do I have some nice marabou? Oh, we're going chartreuse on this one, right? Yes, we are. I completely forgot. We are. Get some white marabou. I think I should have some better than that chartreuse, right? I think that might work. There we go. That's what I was looking for right there. And just saddle hackle, normal saddle hackle. Cheap Chinese saddle hackle sounds good by me. You don't need the good stuff. But I'm also thinking about using some flat wane hackle. I do want a fair bit of hackle in there so things swimming like crazy. Alright, now how big do I want the head to be on this? I gotta think about that as well. I think the head's probably gonna be about here. So this is where all of the body section's gonna be. Now we are gonna tie in forward a little bit, but it's where all of our good stuff is, so. Grab larger bucktail for this one, for sure. Whew. Man, this bucktail's nice. Some really nice hair on this one. Probably going to use this. For now, we'll just start with our tail. You can see this lead wire is kind of helping flare out that bucktail, which is nice because I want it to open up like that. All right, real quick, let's take a quick little break. I need to use the restroom. I'm gonna stretch my legs. We're gonna tie this big pop lip, so don't go anywhere. I think I can change the title. From commercial like that. All right, give me 1 second. We're gonna take a quick break. We're tying the fly version of this right here. So just give me 1 moment. Hey, Wolfram Custom Rods, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Oh, thank you for the raid, Wolfram. Appreciate that. Get some LIFlies hearts in the chat. Get those Wolfram emotes in the chat, baby. Give it up. Round of applause for Wolfram Custom Rods, everybody. Let's go. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate that, my friend. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Coming in with a nice raid. Thank you, my friend. I hope you're doing good. What were you up to? You doing some rod building? You working on your boat? You doing some fishing? You're doing okay. That's good. Well, thank you again, buddy. I hope you appreciate it. I'm sure everybody here already knows Wolfram rods, Wolfram Custom Rods. He's built us some beautiful fly rods. I have my 11 weight VSM rod, one of my favorite rods of all time, Dr. D1. But we're working on some pop lips, which is essentially the fly version of a bomber, which this is an old school bomber right here. So, all right, sounds good. Thank you again, Wolfram. Appreciate that, my friend. We have our little Albie video we're gonna play. We're just stretching our legs real quick while I use the restroom and stretch my back out, and then we'll be back in just a moment to tie some beautiful pop lips. All right, so I'll be back in a moment. Don't go nowhere. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Stay tight, all right? Yeah, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Aiden. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the bow.
Yeah, get on the bow. All right, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Oh, let's go!
Come here, hold it next to your alley. Good job.
That's sick.
All right. Nice.
Let's go! Woo! Albie slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee!
Looking down the barrel of a 12 gauge little toonie, bro. On the alley door, too. Here, take the corner like that. my god, dude! What the fuck? Woohoo! Oh my god. Yep. All right, we're back. Thank you again to Wolfram for the raid. Appreciate that, my friend. Connection's nice and strong. For those of you who don't know, we're actually streaming on YouTube as well. For all the folks on YouTube. So anyone tuning in from YouTube, hope everyone's doing well. We are tying a big old pop lip. We're doing some commercial tying, then we got too excited about big flies, so that's what we're attempting at the moment. Let's see. Tie a little bit more bucktail for the tail here. Some really nice bucktail. Yeah, so the head's gonna probably be somewhere around here with the lip. Sometimes I make them quite long. The one I made yesterday, the head was extended quite far back. All right. I think maybe we start out with the lawn hackle first. Or lawner. So I want to add some white. It's like some flat wing type hackle. Oh, this actually would be really nice. For a full dressed pop lip, as Bob Popovic calls it. Some of these are less desirable flat wing hackle that have split ends and stuff, so I keep those for myself. I do want to use some yellow, but we are also using chartreuse. Again, we're trying to match this bomber. Not exact in coloration because I don't have a ton of yellow, but so we'll go 1, 2, and some of these are pretty busted. 3. Probably one more. 4. All right. Oh, that looks nice. I like this one. Very nice. Okay. Looking good. Let's tie some hackle on there. God, my desk is a mess now. Bomber size. We're going to the back of the vise, like so. We're getting scientific. I'm going to try and actually keep the white feathers near the bottom. And the chartreuse near the top. Even though, in reality, the head's not going to be that color because I only have so much white. We'll make the body of the fly so it's white near the belly and the colored feathers are up top. Definitely a big fly. It is a big fly, big fish sort of fly, you know? These jumbo pop lips. Now this is definitely, you're throwing this on a switch rod or a 10 weight for sure as well. I don't even think I'm going to use these flat wings. Put some yellow. This might be a good time to put some flash. Let's get flashy. We're getting real flashy, because why not? I always make the flash a little shorter than the feathers. Little trick Chris Windrum from Saltwater Flies taught me to keep it from fouling. Now we'll tie yellow on top of the white. And then we'll tie the chartreuse on top of that. I'm kind of tenting the hackle up here, where it's tied at a 45-degree angle instead of directly side on. Then we'll probably tie some bucktail, and then we'll tie some marabou, and then we'll tie our head. Is how I'm thinking it. We're doing it. Okay, it's looking good. We'll tie our last green one here. On top, that's looking sick. Probably hit that with some super glue right now. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but we have white on the belly, chartreuse on top, some yellow in the middle, some flash. Put some super glue on there, and we do have a lead keel up in the back behind this to add some weight to the back. Which I'm curious. I've never added to a what do you call it? A poplet before. I have some really nice lawn bucktail here we're going to use for the belly. Could hollow tie this, but I'm not getting fancy. Just kind of do a bucktail deceiver style. This will kind of help the feathers from fouling as well. Damn, this is the start of a killer bunker fly, like a hollow fly. But we're going pop lip style on it. Could make an unbelievable, what do you call it with it? Unbelievable hollow fly though. Oh yeah, we have this nice yellow, really nice lawn yellow. It's almost like a mix between yellow and chartreuse. I never use it because it's too much of a mix. It's really nice. Nope. Didn't tie it securely enough. Yeah, it's some nice bucktail. I got this from saltwaterflies.com. Chris was nice enough to probably pick out some nice ones for me. And these aren't crazy expensive tails either, so that was nice. That's the yellow. We could add a little bit more of this yellow. I really don't know if I even have chartreuse that's long enough, but I think I have some that'll work. Yeah, this is hollow fly bucktail. I found this at the shop and I was like, I gotta get this one. It's too good to pass up. Even though it's not the color that I'm looking for, the bucktail was so good I had to grab it. Look at that yellow, it's so long. Alright. Looks pretty good. I was thinking about adding marabou, and I kind of want to. But I think we need to add a little bit more bucktail. We'll grab some that's slightly not as long, because we don't need it that long. I'll have to cut it down. That's a waste. Kind of tapering it down a little bit here. Not adding too much bucktail, but enough to where it's you know, this bucktail in front of these feathers are going to help facilitate these feathers having a ton of action in the water, especially with this silicone head and the pop lip. So I want this thing to be wiggling, dancing in the water is the idea. I'm half tempted to tie more feathers on top of this bucktail afterwards, really dress it up. Okay, that's looking good. Now we can add some chartreuse. Chartreuse is really only slightly darker. It's a really light chartreuse bucktail I have. I am planning on doing some fishing here on Twitch in a little bit, so unfortunately I can't stream it to YouTube at the same time. Don't have the technology for the IRL stuff, but I do want to go do a little fishing before I'm going to head to my buddy's house later for some D&D. There's a nice big fly. A little bit more chartreuse on top, I think. This is probably where we're going to start tying the body. I am half tempted though. Do I do some marabou where the junction is? Kind of fill in the body slightly. It's not going to be anywhere near as long, but that's how I usually do these. And some nice long white marabou, I tell you what. I was really happy when I picked up this one. Except the quill on this one's kind of thick. It's my first time trying to tie a poplip with synthetic material for the head, so let's see how this works. All right, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, we're going poplip. That's what we're going. That's where I kind of wish I left some of this stuff longer. So maybe I'll blend in some longer stuff for it. So we can get a nice blend between the marabou and everything else. We're trying synthetic material for the head, which is interesting. Which I've never used before. And I'm thinking, do we V-tie it, or I don't think we can spin this. But I'm half tempted to try it, to be honest with you. I think you probably V-tie it. But, I mean, can I do this? I'm just testing it out to see if this works. I think we want to V-tie it. I think is how we want to do it. Yeah, I'm thinking we V-tie. What fish is this for? For striped bass, but we're essentially making this into a fly. Is what we're doing, Niller. How you doing? We're essentially taking this, using a lip, and we're having it... I haven't messed with the straw and fuzz, no. Apparently, this fuzzy straw and fuzz fiber or something, I think is what Gunnar Brammer was using. I've only used the natural materials. This is my first time. I'm using slinky fiber, but we're going to V-tie it. So... I could just tie it with ram's wool right now and it would come out perfectly, which is probably how I should do it. But I'm curious. I want to try it. But maybe I'm thinking now, maybe I shouldn't try this with this really nice fly we have at the moment. Because it is definitely a different material than... I'm thinking we V-tie it. Do I just go with the ram's wool? Straw and fuzz is pretty nice and it takes the color really well. I'll have to check it out. I know this is a different material. I've only ever used this to make these flies. Ram's wool. And it works really well. But I'm curious. I kind of want to try out the synthetic material. I saw Gunnar Brammer was doing this. But I don't know if this is going to work the same, so I guess we'll see. Only one way to find out. Oop, that's what I was worried about. You know what? Maybe I just tie it with ram's wool. This is going to be tough. I think we should experiment on smaller flies. I'll keep this material off to the side. I'm worried I'm going to ruin this beautiful hollow fly. You're from Denmark, Niller? I have fish stripers on Barnstable in Massachusetts. Oh, very nice. I mostly use deceivers and Clouser minnows. Yeah, those are our bread and butter flies. This is a very popular if you fish with a spinning rod in the surf out here. I'm in Long Island, New York, so not too far from where you were fishing. But this is an old school popular lure, and we're essentially replicating that. We use a lot of smaller flies, a lot of Clouser minnows, deceivers for most of our fishing as well. But there's also very big striped bass that love eating large flies. All right, let's just tie this with ram's wool just to be safe here. So I'll show you how we're gonna do this. Do we use yellow to start? This yellow is pretty good. I have seen them, yeah. Are those the simple cones or the silicones that he ties with the fuzzy fiber or something? Is that what that is? I kind of want to start out with some really long stuff. And I think either the orange or this red is some of my lawnest. Oh yeah, this red is killer. Ram's wool collar to be pretty long. So it blends in nicely. The last one I screwed up. I went too far back with the silicone as well. All right. I'm much more comfortable doing it this way. I'm gonna have to watch how Gunnar does it for the synthetic ones and whatnot. I think I have it figured out, but we'll do it on a smaller version first without the pop lip. I've tied these since I was a kid this way, so I'm much more comfortable doing this. Essentially put it on there like we're spinning deer here. Yeah, this is ram's wool. This is ram's wool is what we're using, Niller. Looks like a mullet, but it's with squimpish and straw and fuzz on a dubbing twist. Oh, okay, gotcha. Very cool. Yeah, we're going to have to make some squimpish dubbing brushes. Because David Nelson has made me some, and they're absolutely fantastic. I'll have to check out the straw and fuzz. I think that's what we're going to need to use if we want to go synthetic for these heads. This is how Bob Pop ties them, though. He ties them with the ram's wool. And I want to tie these as close as I can together, essentially. Minimal thread wrapping the whole time as well. But I really want to just cinch it down is what I'm doing. Kind of in that awkward spot with this thread. There we go. And we're going to pick it out when we're done. We're going to trim it to the shape that we want to match this, and then we're going to build a lip with wool, and we're going to coat the whole thing in silicone. It's quite the project. I don't know why I decided doing this now, but I guess we needed... I was taking a break from commercial tying. Let's get some of this yellow. I'm trying to get these collars as close as I can together and pack it in just like I'm spinning deer here. I'm pretty much trying to tie it right in the middle where the material's equal lengths front to back. The first one I tie, I always favorite lawner, but just so I can get some length. And then I always wrap in front of it really good, make sure that's secured good, but not putting too much thread. I think I'm just going to do like a rainbow color head. Why not? Mix it up like rainbow bread. If anyone does any striper fishing, you know about the rainbow bread colored bombers. They're very infamous or famous. People love those. Or they hate them. Let's go a little bit of orange. want to favor more on the lighter colors, but there's actually a way you can actually get a legit rainbow bread color by just specifically tying bits of color in at certain spots before you fold it back, kind of like your spinning deer hair. If you really wanted to, I'm not going that deep, but I'm just going for a cool looking blend. Let me just wrap that down like so. It's gonna take some collars, that's for sure. Let me see what other colors I got. Now I just want to put every color on there. More yellow. Ooh. Hold the phone. That yellow looks nice and long. I like that. What other colors? I know I have some other ram's wool colors. There's got to be more. It can't be just that. No chartreuse, huh? Oh, I also think we can use Icelandic sheep hair as well. I have some of that I've had forever. I think we can use that for this sort of stuff as well. My phone's vibrating, but... Oh, look, I got some, for Mall Dropper. Was it Mall Dropper, I think? Am I remembering his name right? Ask me about the fuzzy, the eyes. It's been a while, I forgot. I think those are the only colors. Oh, I have some, oh, look at that white. That's what we're using for the lip. Look at that. Nice and long. I was hoping to get some chartreuse, but looks like we don't have any. It's not really like casting a sock. What happens is it's kind of like it becomes an air pocket because you coat it in silicone. You know what I mean? I was casting this on my 9-weight with my intermediate line in a little bit smaller version, no problem. This is definitely like a larger fly. But this is traditionally how Bob Popovic ties them, and this is how he likes it. This is how I've always tied them as well. You're right, the wool might retain a little bit more water, but you can squeeze the head and you can adjust how buoyant you want it. The other thing is this thing actually sinks pretty good once it gets wet. So then you get the diver action, but it sinks, you know? I don't know, I'm going to have to try them with the synthetic material like Gunner. But Bob Popovic has tied this with like this forever. So it seems how he prefers it. This is how I've always fished them. What sort of rods do we use? I was fishing with an 8-weight yesterday and a 9-weight. So we use pretty similar rods. But we also fish with 10 weights or 11 weights. This sort of fly you might want to throw on a 10 weight. Especially in the surf, you might want a 10 weight like switch rod. Or spay rod almost, you know, with like a big rod that you can... We fish with switch rods sometimes, but a lot of just 9-foot rods. Mostly a 9-weight will get you by with most fishing out here. But sometimes we fish 10 or 11 weights for big fish. Yeah, like the pop lips, yep. But I was throwing a really big pole dancer type fly with the 8-weight. Now, mind you, the wind was at my side a little, so I was using it, but yeah, generally we use the 8-weights for the smaller flies inshore. 10-weight's always been one of my favorite rods. Some people think it's too heavy. They like fishing light rods, but I like having a nice stiff rod that I can bring the fish in quick and get it off and catch another one. So I'm not stressing it out too much. Yeah, I guess I'll have to try a synthetic version of these one day. But essentially it becomes like an air pocket. It really traps air pretty good. You might get a 10 weight for pike and the salt. Yeah, I really think a 10 weight would be good crag roll for pike because it just makes throwing big flies that much easier. I know there's probably people that throw 12 weights for muskie and stuff, because imagine trying to throw a 12-inch fly all day. It's one thing to throw it sometimes, but to fish for 8 hours, having a big rod with a big line really helps. I mean, throwing a bigger rod in itself is a workout as well, so you need a good setup, but you don't want to be trying to use an 8 weight and throw a fly like this all day. You'll just kill yourself. You could do it, but... Switch and spay for the Atlantic salmon and the big sea run trouts? Yeah, very cool. Yeah, the fishery you have over there is awesome. We have a lot of folks that watch me on Twitch that are from your area, and the fishery is so cool. I love it. Yeah, a 9 weight can be too noodly for a fly like this. I'll fish this on my 9 weight. I do have the Wolfram 11 weight, but an 11 weight's almost too big. We were catching sharks on that thing. You know what I mean? It's a pretty big rod. Do a mixture of all 3 colors. Get all the really short hairs out. We don't want them. Just throw out those smaller hairs, screw it. And I'm building it. I like putting a lot of material when I do this because I find if you trim it, and especially you trim it too much, you go to put the silicone on the ram's wool, it sinks down. That might be another advantage to synthetic because it retains the shape better, for all I know. Look at that masterpiece. What's going on, Frosty? I didn't realize you were probably FM on YouTube, wasn't it? You're like, mod me, damn. I'm like, who the hell is this hobo coming in here? I was right about the hobo part, but... How you doing? What are you up to? Use a 9 weight for pike and salt here in the Netherlands. Works perfect. Yeah. I mean, a 9 weight is really just a great overall rod. You know what I mean? I mean, you'd be surprised though, Niller. Like, a lot of times... people here fish 12 to 14 inch flies for big striped bass. We're talking 20 to 40 to 50 pounds. And flies that are, I mean, the size of an adult bunker. An adult bunker could be, 12, 14 inches at times, weighs like a couple pounds. So it's a big fly, you know what I mean? Trying to replicate that. So throwing an 11 weight is not out of, the ordinary for something like that. But I definitely don't want to throw an 11 weight all the time, It's only when I'm fishing for big fish specifically or in the surf when it's really bad out and I'm throwing a giant fly like this in the rough surf, the ocean. That's where an 11 weight can really help. But even then, chucking an 11 weight all day really beats the crap out of you at times. Lunar Crypt. Long time listener, first time chatter. What's going on, Luna? How you been? Long time no see. What have you been up to? Get out of here, first time chatter. Yeah. I learned that from Lou Tabry. I was like, why would you... I thought an 11 weight is just for tarpon and stuff. And like tuna. And they're talking about how they use 11 weights for striped bass specifically because when you're fishing on the rocks and stuff, you got to realize 30-pound striped bass in the current knows how to use the current and can easily break you off or put you in a position where it's almost impossible. There's so much water rushing out of some of these inlets and stuff like that that you need to manhandle the fish because it'll either break you off in the rocks or it'll go off into the rip and it's just like game over. So you need to be able to get these fish, and you want to get them in a relatively quick manner too. You don't want to fight the fish for 40 minutes, and then the biggest striped bass you ever catch literally goes belly up and dies right in front of you. That's, believe me, not something you want. As a catch and release fisherman, that is, you know what I mean? You think as I got older, things would get slow down. Yep. I know, I hear you. Believe me, I barely streamed last year. I was so busy working all the time. But I'm trying to do it a lot more, so maybe we'll see you around. Maybe you'll see me around. You'll definitely see me around more, so. It was good to see you, Luna Crypt. I hope you've been well, dude. You been doing any fly tying with the crew, the boys? Do you guys have a name for yourselves? Like a cool, like a boy band name for Point Blank? You, Luna Crypt, everybody else. Bam, I think, right? Or something. You guys need like a group name, like a fly tying name. Not really? Okay, gotcha. Oh yeah. The records for striped bass are, I think, like 80 something pounds, if I'm not wrong, or 70 something pounds for the IGFA records from New York State, I think, Niller, if I'm not wrong. I don't know, no. Did I miss anything, drama? I don't know if I want to know, but... I don't mind bullying the fish for better release, too, as you said. Yeah. Oh, mad fish? Ah, okay. Yes. All right, I like it. I like it. That's a cow. Yep, that's what they call them, cow stripers. Let me see. Hold on, I have my stuff set up. Striper IGFA record. Holy cow, look at that. That's on a fly, too. Oh, let me make sure there's no, like, dicks. That's on a fly. Look at that. It's on a bunker fly with wire, it looks like. Oh, no, it's not wire. 39 pound striped bass. Ate a fly. By the way, that's a dead fish, but that's all right. 124 centimeters, okay. So that's IGFA, but that's not being weighed. So is that the current men's all tackle? Woman 50-pound line. Woman's 30-pound line. Look at that. 64 pounds near Massachusetts. 12-pound tippet. 64 pounds. Now we're talking. Norwalk, Connecticut. 71 pounds. 1980. Look at that. Montauk Point. 76 pounds. Drifting a live eel in Montauk. 1981. Story goes back that Rochetta was using a brand new wheel and had line tangles close to the spool. Instead of snapping his line during the long run, the striped bass towed his boat around. Imagine that on a fly rod, though. 78 pounds, 1982. This is the biggest striped bass ever. Caught near the Long Island Sound, 81 pounds on a live eel. Look at that thing. I mean, look at the belly. It's probably just full of bunker or something. Or that guy put a bunch of rocks in there. I don't know. That is very cool, but I'll be honest with you. I don't think I could ever kill a fish like that, even just to weigh it. After 15 minutes of fighting. That's hell yeah, dude. That's a accomplishment for that guy. Very cool. So yeah, that's the world record right there. But I will let you know there are photos of striped bass that are bigger. From the Hudson River. Just tuned in. One nice fly. Hey, what's going on, Banana? How you doing? Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Hold on, I'm gonna go back. Striped bass. Images. Hudson 1900s. Like, I'm looking for photos from like the 1819 or like early 1900s from the Hudson. Giant striped bass, maybe. Hudson. See, there's all these photos of modern day stuff. I want the like the old school. $1800s? I know, like, I've seen like photos of old or like drawings of like, because there were striped bass that were over 100 pounds that were caught in New York City back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. There are photos and there are like drawings, but there's records of like fish that are over almost 100 pounds in the Hudson River back in the day that were weighed. This is pre-IGFA, right? Yep. Hey, a lot of women are good fishers. They seem to be they have good luck. A lot of women that are serious about fishing that I know. They're very good at fishing. And they, not only that, they just like, maybe it's the positive energies. The fish are attracted to them. The fish hate me, meanwhile. Now, we are going to pick this out with a bodkin, but kind of hitting it with a brush first to kind of help facilitate it. It actually works pretty good. Because now we're going to trim this whole thing. Look at that. All right, the fly's done. Oh, whoa. Sorry, that got really loud there for a second. Let me turn my volume down. Sorry if that peaked. All right, the fly's done. Here we go. You just fish it like this, and that's it. It just floats on the water, and it looks like a mop. Now, all right, we're going to trim it. I'm sorry if the mic peaked there. I don't know why it was quite loud. All right. Now, the main thing is I do not want to trim a lot of this hair at the back like this. That red and that marabou, I don't want to trim. So I'm actually going to take a clip and clip it. I don't do this very often, but then again, I don't tie a lot of flies like these very often, so. Where is the clip? I just used it. Really not there? Alright, well that's alright. You can put a clip on there. We don't necessarily need it, but I just have to be careful. Let me turn this over. I don't know where it went. I just had it there the other day. It might have fell over. Could do with oils in the skin scenting the flies. You laugh. You're talking to somebody who catches shark on the flies, so listen, excuse my language. I'll flippin' put my fly in bunker oil when it comes to shark fishing any day of the week. Does the neighbor know you clipped their poodle? No, we're gonna have to keep that under wraps, all right? I'd appreciate it if you don't say anything. Oh, you know what? Let's pick it out real quick. Just to be safe. Where is my bodkin? God, there's so much stuff on the table now because we're tying. I'm no snitch. This is where, because sometimes you got to get deep and you got to just pull it out like this. Helps open it up a bit because they get trapped when you tie them on the inside like that. Kind of cheated with the brush, but all right. And now we're essentially just going to trim the head here. Go around like so. We're trying to get a general right shape here. I'm gonna start knocking it down just a little because we don't want it to be massive, like huge body. So I'm just kind of slowly spinning around and evening that body up. If I see a spot that has high spots, I take it down. Try and get it in line. This is where you also kind of need to take a look at the fly itself and just... I don't want to trim too much because we do need to tie our lip on here, but I'm just kind of getting most of the trimming done out of the way so I don't need to worry about it after. Bring this backside down a little. Do a quick little spin around. This is looking pretty good. Just kind of slowly take a little bit off. I'm pretty happy with that, honestly. That's looking pretty good the way it is. So I don't want to take too much off. Just quickly, boop, boop, boop. Slight amount right there. All right, stop trimming it. I get into the, I just want to sit there and trim it all day. Okay, because again, this is a pretty big fly. If we leave that massive, I mean, it's going to be quite large. But we are trying to replicate quite a large bait here, so just to give you an idea, no bass in Alberta. I know, what is it, like New Brunswick or somewhere like that has some of the best striped bass fishing in the world now. On the east coast of Canada, the striped bass fishery is better than we have here where they're natively from. But they've started going further and further north, and there's like prime areas. Apparently the bass fishing is unbelievable up there. I'm a little jealous, actually. Okay. I might have trimmed a little too much off on the front, but we're going to tie some on here now anyway, so. This is how we do the lip now. This doesn't look like an eel. You're right. I went for something else. Color-wise. Matching the bomber. Is this going to be a silicone or will you form a lip? We're doing the lip right now. We are doing the lip right now. What time is it? 1? Okay. I think at 1:30-ish, I want to go do some fishing for an hour or two. Unfortunately, we can only do it on Twitch, so you're going to need to go there if you want to see it, but I want to see if we can just fish for an hour or two. Yeah, we took creative freedom there, Jen. Let me cut off just a little bit more here. We'll just put that on there. So now we're going to have the lawn end facing the front. Actually, I'm going to open this up on the bottom so that thread can kind of get there. Actually, we'll do it this way. This part's pretty important, by the way. I kind of want to open it up like that, yeah. We tie it like that, and then we pull it down. Let's get it to where we like it. Pull it down like that. I could add a little more. Do I want to add? I might add just a little bit more. I really don't want, if you don't have enough material, you don't want too much, but we can, I mean, we could always trim it, so. I want to make sure I have enough. This is a pretty big version, so it's got a pretty chunky lip on there. Then we pull it down like that. What material? It's ram's wool for a pop lip. It's fucking gonna have to put some glue back on that bodkin. This bodkins take a beating. I'm not buying a new one for a long time. I love this beat up bodkin. It's one of my favorites. Might get another one just so I don't have to constantly switch threads though between monofilament and the flat wax. Which we do need to grab our bodkin though. I'm kind of cheating with the brush. We're supposed to be using the bodkin to blend it like this. Also kind of helps blend the bodies together in the back and front. Now, let's just reevaluate Bob Pop's book real quick. Did we drop frames for a sec? Are we back? We good? That's funny. We didn't even drop frames on OBS or YouTube, so that was a Twitch drop right there. That was Twitch dropping the ball on that one. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed your thing, Banana. I was just started fishing last summer and tying through the winter. Be able to fish open water again. Did some looking last night and found you're the only one fly tying on Twitch, so I shot you a follow. Oh, thank you, dude. Appreciate that. There's also Point Blank and there's some other people, but yeah, there's not many people fly tying on Twitch. That's my personal niche. All right, so we've got the lip tied. Let's see if we can. YouTube did a drop? Okay, gotcha. It didn't show it on my end. So we have the lip tied now. You can see we're in this stage right here. Oh, this one. So we need to... We are going to trim the excess above and behind the lip. And that includes this stuff here. Kind of trim this down just a little bit where it's really thick. Something like that. Okay, for the most part, that looks pretty good. Damn crow, what are you crowing about? Get out of here. Stream sniping crows. Okay, one thing we need to trim it down, because if you try to apply the silicone when it's like this, you'll have an issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and essentially taking some off, cutting it square. Now I don't want it to go too wide as well, so I want to make sure it's level as well. I should probably take a little bit off the top like this. So we don't want it to go below the hook point. That looks pretty good though. We don't want to take too much off. You're always trying to make it oversized because you trim it on the water to get the exact shape. That's how we do it. I'm going to actually real quick. Trim behind there. I don't want too much material. I kind of want to take a little bit off the back here. Nah, we'll just leave it. It's fine. Now, okay. Still need to take a little bit off here. This is where, you know, you kind of set up beforehand, and it's important to get it right. For the most part, that's looking pretty good, but I'll take a little off that, level that side up a bit. I'm trying to get it even top and bottom, but also up at near the top where it meets the hook eye, where it's like reinforced. Okay. I think that's pretty good. We'll see how this works. I'm telling you, this is one of, in my opinion, the hardest Popovix fly to tie, at least consistently. It's tough. It's a tough fly. Hang that on the back, on the mirror on the back up here. Yeah, exactly. All right, so I need to move some of this stuff. I need to grab gloves. We'll take a quick break. We'll play our away video. I'm gonna have to grab gloves. I have to grab Photo Flow, which is Kodak Photo Flow photo processing fluid. It helps smooth out the silicone, and I have my silicone itself right here, which Doc was asking the other day. GE2 Household Clear is the ideal stuff, but I have this DevCon I got at the hardware store, silicone adhesive that's clear. But the GE is always what was recommended by Popovix. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply the silicone to the lip and the head, and we're going to get the base of it, and then we're going to smooth it out. to where it looks nice. And you can tie it without that photo flow solution, but it really does kind of smooth it out and make it look nice, which is a nice thing. Just kind of cleaning this up slightly. Just like that. Maybe just a little bit more on this side. All right. Very nice. That's looking good. All right, let's take a quick little break. I'm going to get all this crap off me. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. Stop trimming. Listen, I can't help it, Craig Roll. I love trimming. Plus, it's pretty important we get the shape right before we apply it on there. But you're right. One thing I find is I usually make it too large. So this looks pretty good. Like, we don't want the width of it to be too wide. Wider than the body, right? And we don't, the hook point, it can't be deeper than the hook point, but we're going to leave it longer. So we are going to end up trimming this. But I'm just making sure. Let's just double check. You'd rather have it be deeper than it is wider. So just to be, I'm just going to trim the lip just a little on the sides. I was hitting the top parts, but just like that. Okay. And I think that should be good. All right, we'll take a break. I'm just going to go stretch my legs, get all this fiber off me. I use silicone from a huge pump, like those for the bathroom. Oh, okay, gotcha. Interesting. You do a lot of silicone stuff? It's calming to trim. It is banana. It really is. I like sitting there and trimming these flies. I could trim them for hours, but it's not very productive, is it? All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Enjoy the break video. use silicone for worms. Ah, okay, very cool. I have my palette I use for painting terrain. I have Kodak Photo Flow. You need to smooth this thing out. Bought a big old bottle off Amazon like 2011. All right. Put gloves on because I hate, I'm going to tell you right now, absolutely hate getting silicone on my fingers, especially because I roll my own cigarettes and dirty dirties, as they call them down in land down under. I hate getting silicone on my hands. Same thing with UV resin, but silicone's worse. It's impossible, I feel like, to get off your fingers. So I'm putting on gloves. I'm gonna take a little, this Photo Flow. I'm gonna put it in one of these little spots on my palette because it's just convenient in reality. This is my crappy palette. It's not my wet palette that I use for my miniatures. Okay, this is definitely gonna make a mess, so. A little something there to wipe my fingers. All right. You can use a bodkin. I use my fingers for this, but I'm also wearing gloves, so. This dried up from the other day. Pop it open. By the way, always use highly well-ventilated area. I hate the smell of silicone. The feel and the smell, but it's got a very strong vinegar smell to it. Yeah. So let's try not make a mess. Man, this really gunked up at the top. Normally doesn't happen. Then again, I haven't opened it for a while, so. Yeah, you do not want to get this. You do not want to ingest it. You don't want to get it in your eyes. So be careful with it. Also, it just stinks. And it just starts getting all over everything. It's quite messy for sure. All right. Really? Are you serious? I gotta poke it while I'm pushing it, I think. Relieve some of the... What is going on here? It was working perfectly yesterday. I feel it. It's not hard at all. It's just maybe at the tip. It's like not coming out. Try and break that up at the top. I guess it must be clogged up or something. It's not dry. I don't know why it's... Maybe the pressure is pushing the silicone back. There we go. Broke through finally. So we don't need to use the, what do you call it, just yet. The Photo Flow. We're gonna start with the, oh, that hook snapped down, scared the crap out of me for a sec. We'll start with the lip. I'm afraid the tube's gonna break. Could be a good reason to get another tube. This time get the GE. One thing I've learned is using too much silicone on the lip can severely hurt the action, so it's better to sometimes have less. Okay, now we got to put some on the back. You went to the doctor's, what, from the gloves? Nice and clear silicone. It's called Devcone Silicone Clear. It's the clear version. It's kind of just a household silicone. GE also makes one. The GE2 Household Clear, I believe it's called. Now you want a pretty nice chunk reinforcing behind the lip. Wish this wasn't so hard to get out. I don't know what happened near the end, but. So we're pretty much going to dab silicone in behind the lip. Not too much, but something like that. This is where taking a little photo flow with my other finger and dabbing it in. Like that comes into play. Lip's gonna get trimmed down pretty good. You don't want to apply too much silicone to the lip, and I'm only gonna do one coat, so that's probably it. Now we're gonna do the body. Alright, this is ridiculous. It shouldn't be this hard to get out. There we go. I'm not going to go too far back because what'll happen is I don't want to get, like that. I don't want to get that marabou. So I'm using my dry part of my finger to kind of work the back side. Otherwise, if you use the photo flow, it gets super slick. Just like that. Because we do want to create essentially a little barrier at the end where it helps create that air pocket. Kind of like that right there. Has anyone tried this using UV resin? Yeah, I think so, and I don't think it works very well. Did I just bust the silicone tube somewhere? I feel like I did. Where's it coming out of that I don't see? Did I pop a hole? What happened? I feel like I did, but nothing's coming out. It's happened before. I've done this before. I think people have, and I may have myself, but it really doesn't work the same. UV resin is much heavier, and the silicone has floating properties. But I think we have tried it. Wow, that's really weird. It's almost like it popped a hole somewhere, but it's... Oh, I see it. Yeah, they did in the bottom. I think. It's hard to tell. Man, this is a pain in the butt. Oh, yep, there it is. All right, well, it popped open now. We'll just fold it at the bottom. It's probably a little much. I was wondering where it was. Yeah, that's a little much. We don't need this much, but we do want to coat that body. Holy cow. All right, I'm gonna need a... I get this from the local hardware store, so I can pick up a bottle whenever. I did want to try the GE stuff, though. Oh, God. Do I have... I got to be careful. I don't want to get silicone all over my vise. Use some photo flow now. It popped. That's for sure. Kind of dab it in, essentially, is what I'm going to do. And then we'll take the photo flow here. Honestly, that looks really good like that. I think I need to apply a little bit more silicone. Use one of my non-photo flow fingers around the back. Photo flow. You can see I've kind of reinforced that lip into the body as well. I think we should add some eyes. Again, I'm not going to add too much. I'm tempted to add more silicone to the lip. I'm not going to, because you're better off leaving it thin. You can always add more, right? But if you add too much, then it's actually better to have a flexible lip. Just hit that with a little photo flow, smooth it out. Okay. All right, without getting silicone all over everything, is there some eyes I can put on? Oh God. Everything's gonna be covered in silicone. That's all right. Sacrifices must be made. A lot of work on this step. Yep. Well, you want to fly that swims like a crankbait. Or a bomber. What you gotta do. Probably better off just fishing a hollow fly, right? But, I mean, come on. Wait till you see this thing in the water, I'm telling you. We have one on our fly rod right now. We're probably going to go fishing a little bit here on Twitch, so. This one I tied it in a way I think it's going to have a lot more action to it. I'm just kind of fiddling with it right now, you know what I mean? I probably could have been done a while ago, but I'm a fiddler. Put some silicone on top of this. Smooth it out. All right. And one last little dab with the photo flow back here. I think I have a good base behind the lip, so that's important. You want to make sure the lip is nice and flexible. And then we just want to make sure the body's smooth. I'm pretty much done. Kind of just messing around, but all right, there we go. That's our ram's wool pop lip. God, I gotta clean my vise now. But check out the lip. Looks good. Yeah, eyes are a nice touch. I mean, we're already making a fly like this. We might as well put eyes on it, right? We want to kind of make sure that we're going to trim it no matter what, so it looks pretty good. You could see the curvature to the lip comes down as well. We're going to trim this on the water, by the way, so we'll trim it as it dries much smaller, but you want to trim it larger than you expect, because you then trim it down on the water, so that way it, what do you call it? It actually swims properly. You have to essentially on the water fine tune it. Is the only way to work with this fly. Biggest tubes indispensable we ever saw. All right, I don't know what tubes is, but yep. The fly will shimmy and shake like the girl you met last Friday night. Yeah. In my sleep? You mean in my dreams? Yeah. I don't even know if we could still use this tube, but I'm gonna see if I can fold it in the back. Might need to get a new. Kind of like crimp it down. I could probably put it in a glove or something. All right. Oh, I know what to do. We'll put it in a bag, so at least it's not completely messy. All right, there we go. We got our pop lip. Oh, tube wool is from the balls for making a nymph. Oh, okay, gotcha. Ram's wool is from male ram. Yes. Okay, so tube wool is from the balls of a ram. That's good to know. Interesting. All right, there we go. I gotta let this dry, but I am tempted to go do some fishing. Real quick, I want to see what time my buddy wants to get going with D&D, but I think I'm gonna head down and fish for an hour or two. Low tide was like 2 hours ago, so it should be incoming tide. The wind's gonna suck, be right in our face, but whatever. What are you gonna do? It's all good. Piece of silicone, get that off there. All right, appreciate it. Yeah, no problem, Niller. Appreciate it. You know, we're now streaming on YouTube as well as Twitch, so you could feel free to tune in when you see us live and check us out, as well as, you know, all the fly tying videos on the channel. But appreciate you tuning in. I hope you had a good time watching. We're going to be streaming a lot more, so we've been streaming on Twitch. We've been doing this for like almost 6 years now or something like that, so now we're finally able to share it with the folks on YouTube. So thank you to everybody on YouTube and everybody on Twitch. Niller, Slim Thunder, Lunacrypt, Banana, Doc, Jin, thank you for everybody hanging out. Cragger Roll. I think we're going to go do some fishing, so just stay tuned in a little bit. I'll probably go live. I think I'm going to probably go down right now and try to fish for a little bit before I have to go to some D&D, so just stay tuned. I'll probably go live here in a little bit. Just keep an eye on the channel here on Twitch, all right? So, oh yeah, no problem. Why is it showing that now? Did it go to that on YouTube? I don't think so, right? Maybe did I go... Hold on. Oh, was it far behind on my end? I'm still not used to streaming on YouTube. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so appreciate it. Thank you so much for hanging out, and keep an eye out on YouTube. We're going to be having some more fly time videos coming out, so if you haven't followed me there, check me out, LIFliesMike on YouTube. We're going to be fishing here in a little bit, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you in a little bit on Twitch for some fly fishing. All right, maybe we can get a fish. All right, later.